In this video, we'll learn how to make a class template in p5js. A class template is a code block that helps us to define a set of behaviors or methods and properties or fields of an object. Now, this could include visual aspects like colors, shapes, animation, interactivity, etc., or purely informational components like timers, scores, or rotation. Class templates are great because they allow us to make many duplicate objects, also called instances, very quickly and very easily. If we think back to our analogy of a blueprint versus a house made from that blueprint, the class template is our blueprint. So we'll work on making a blueprint for an object in P5. Here in my example sketch, I've got some basic interactive behavior set up, and I'd like to convert what I have now into a class template so that I could make more duplicates of these interactive eyeball shapes. So I'll make myself some space at the bottom of the code, and we'll start with the keyword class. Then we'll give our class a name, and I'll call this eyeball. And when we're making a class template, we want to start the name with a capital letter, and that makes it a little bit easier to distinguish from other parts of our code. So after the name, I'll follow it by an open curly bracket and a closed curly bracket, and inside those brackets, we'll type out all of the methods and properties that we'd like to add to our class template. So no matter what we're doing, anytime we're making a class template, we need to have one and only one method called Constructor. So let's go ahead and just type that out. And you'll notice here I'm using almost the same exact syntax as if I were defining a function outside of the class template, but I don't actually need that function keyword because we're inside of our class block here. So P5 is smart enough to know that we're creating a method for this class. So the constructor will run automatically anytime we create an object using this template class. So inside this constructor function, we can start to set up some of the instance variables or basic properties that we'd like each of our duplicate objects to have. So these properties or fields are basically variables that will belong to each instance of our class. So every object that we make that's a copy of this template will have its own unique copy of these variables. And we do this almost the same exact way as defining a regular variable, but we preface it with the keyword this dot. So I'm going to make two properties here, one for the x and one for the y location. And for now, we'll just use the random function to choose either a horizontal or a vertical location that we know will be on the canvas. So this is the most bare bones format for a class template. I'd like to add at least one additional method right now so that we can do something with the this.x and this.y instance variables. So let's make a new block, and I'll call this method show. So here I'll set a fill color and then draw an ellipse placed wherever the this.x or this.y variables happen to be. And we'll just make this 100 pixels across for now. So based on these two methods, every time we create an object from this class template, the constructor will set up a location for our instance object somewhere on the canvas. Then when we call the show method on that object, we'll draw an ellipse based on whatever the location happens to be set to. Okay, so that's an overview of how to make a class template in p5js.